Now, President Obama recently did bombings in Iraq to try to help the Yazidi people and our Kurdish allies in the region. Was that enough? For all the people who had called for more bombings, like the neoconservatives, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Peter King, was it enough? Well, let's find out. Let's go to Peter King first.
All he ended was American influence in Iraq, and that's the failure, and it's on his hands. And for him to, what a weak leader. We're going to attack this, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do this, we're not going to do that. Can you imagine Winston Churchill or Franklin Roosevelt or Harry Truman?
U.S. troops on the ground to defeat ISIS because that is the ultimate goal?
I am saying we should do whatever we have to do. People say Americans want to see troops on the ground. My constituents don't want to see another couple hundred people killed by an attack from ISIS.
Okay, so ISIS is going to attack us here at home. But overall, he does the bombing. Shocking, not good enough. More bombings. Perhaps ground troops at some point. Otherwise, they're going to attack New York, where Peter King's from. I mean, look, the attack on Mosul was totally unexpected, and it was a horrible and bold stroke by ISIS. New York would be a different thing. They might need different ways to get to New York. Right now, by the way, ISIS number of attacks on Americans, 0. They're a horrible, hideous group. I'm glad we bombed them. I'm glad we helped the Yazidi and the Kurds, okay? But right now, they haven't attacked us at all. So we attack them, and we say, can you believe? They're almost in Manhattan. They're almost in Manhattan. We got to go get them. Oh, President Obama didn't do enough. Didn't do enough. And now, who's going to pick up this theme? Of course, John McCain.
This is an Iraqi problem, but it's a United States problem, and it is a threat to our national security, and launching 3 strikes around a place where horrible humanitarian crisis is taking place. Meanwhile, ISIS continues to make gains everywhere. Yes, is clearly very, very ineffective, to say the least.
Oh, very ineffective. I showed the video earlier in the show. Here, let's show it again. Okay, bring me the video of our strikes. You see the artillery, and then you see it annihilated, wiped off the face of the earth. Oh, it's only 3 strikes. Yeah, it's very ineffective. But actually, because we took out their artillery at the bottom of the mountain, we now have rescue missions that are not only some are delivering food and water, significant amounts to the Yazidi so they can survive, but rescue missions taking them off the mountain. And we can do that because we took out the Islamic State's artillery at the bottom of the mountain, which is what you're watching now. No, not enough, not enough. It's almost like the Republicans want to get on TV and start chanting in unison, more war, more war. By the way, if we attack them more, which there's good reason to do you think that will make them less likely to attack us in the future or more likely to attack us in the future? All right, so now, since you want more war, what do you got to say? Oh, they're threatening us. Go ahead, John.
This is turning into, as we had predicted for a long time, a regional conflict, which does pose a threat to the security of the United States of America.
A regional conflict is a threat to us here. Later, they'll get even more specific about that. But oh, it's about us. Oh, no. It's not about the Yazidi. I know you in Missouri and Kansas, you might not care about that because they're not uncles of yours. You're kind of glad we did something, but you're not going to go to ground troops. You're not going to go to war over that. No, it's us. It's us. Regional threat. Okay, and again, enough? No, not enough. More.
That's not a strategy. That's not a policy. That is simply a very narrow and focused approach to a problem which is metastasizing as we speak.
No. Just a couple of bombs is not a strategy. A whole war is a strategy. From a war, defense contractors can make a lot of money. That's a strategy they can get behind. Okay? What should we have done in Iraq, John McCain? Tell us.
And this all goes back to a number of steps the president took, including a failure to leave a residual force in Iraq.
A failure to leave a residual force in Iraq. No, the failure was going into Iraq in the first place. I don't know if you noticed that fly in the video, but I'm given to understand flies land on a certain matter. Okay, all right, that's not fair. I'm going to skip ahead to graphic 35 here because I want to give you one more great quote from John McCain. He said, "We could have avoided it," talking about this mess in Iraq. "It's not like an earthquake or a hurricane. These things happen because of decisions that are made." Well, you're very right about that, John McCain. The decision that we made was to go into Iraq, stir everything around, bomb the living crap out of everybody, pit the Sunnis, the Shiites, and the Kurds all against one another, and look at what emerged. Absolute destabilizing chaos in the Middle East. Exactly as we had warned you about. As we told you not to go into Iraq, because this would be the exact cause, and the exact results, I should say, of what would happen. But you didn't listen to us. Now, instead you say, no. The answer would have been more war. Of course it would have been. John, that's your answer for everything. And who's his friend, his buddy here, his best pal in the War Department? Well, Lindsey Graham, of course. Let's go to him.
When I look at the map that General King described, I think of the United States. I think of an American city in flames because of the terrorist ability to operate in Syria and Iraq. So, Mr. President, you have never once spoken directly to the American people about the threat we face from being attacked from Syria, now Iraq. What is your strategy to stop these people from attacking the homeland?
These people are unstoppable, man. They just keep coming back over and over with the same unbelievable, ridiculous talking points. American city in flames. Mr. President, why have you never talked to the American people about the possibility of being attacked from Syria? Because that possibility doesn't really exist in the real world? Look, could any terrorist at any point try a plot? Of course they can. We've learned that the hard way. We understand that. But like the idea that the Islamic State, who's now busy fighting many battles in Syria and Iraq against many different foes, the Assad government, other rebels in Syria, the Shiites in Iraq, the Kurds in Iraq, the Yazidi in Iraq, is going to turn around and somehow attack Seattle or San Antonio. Why have you not given an address about that? Because that possibility is fairly remote and not worth going into Syria or Iraq with ground troops for. And by the way, if we did do that and we did do more bombings, the possibility that they would attack us here at home would not go down, Lindsey Graham. It would go up. But then you would have more war, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be that upset about that because you love war.